What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I want to share 3 reasons why I think you should keep your old beats. Now before I started recording this, I had a little think about what I wanted to say in this video, and I was thinking this can probably almost apply to any kind of creative task, whether it be drawing, painting, digital art, anything like that. This will probably work for you as well. This video is about beat making, but if you just substitute these keywords that I'm using, these tips will probably help for any kind of creative stuff. And just quickly before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to you all for the subscriptions recently. I'm knocking on the door of 20k now, I'm so close. So if you're new around here and you like this content, then please hit that subscribe button and let's get me past 20k. That would be really cool. So reason number 1 why you should keep your old beats. I think this is something that happens in the moment, and it happens very often to me, where you make beats and then a little bit later down the line, say when you start trying to put some effects on or something like that, you almost kind of start to hate them. Now I think this is due to the fact that you spend so long listening to the same thing that you almost convince yourself that it doesn't sound very good. So what I would say about this is probably one of the hardest things about being creative, is just believing in what you're doing personally. Try and push through and finish that project, and then just keep it somewhere, because you may come back to that beat at a later date and realise that it's actually not as bad as you were making out at the time. So I think this is the first real argument for keeping your old beats, is because you may learn to love them in the future. I've definitely done this with all different kinds of music that I've produced over the years. I've written songs, I've played beats and made beats, and when I've come back to them at a later date, when previously I thought they were bad and didn't want to use them, I've actually realised that they weren't as bad as I thought at the time, and I've gone on to use those tracks or send them to people, etc, etc. So the first point, you may learn to love it further down the line, so don't give up on it in the moment when you're a bit frustrated and bored. Keep it somewhere safe, have a look at it in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and you may find that it's a lot better than you thought. Point number 2, I think that keeping things is really important, because at a later date you may go back and be able to improve what you've already made. Again, linking back to the first point I was saying about getting frustrated during the creative process, if you give yourself some time away and come back to it, at a later date you may have a renewed sense of motivation to finish that track. You may get some new creative ideas that you want to include, so having that skeleton already there to work with is actually kind of half the battle with making a beat. When you're starting from scratch every single time, it gets difficult to continuously do that. But if you've already got an idea sketched out, you can come back to that and think, well, it only needs a couple of things here and there to make this a better beat. And also, when you progress as a beat maker as well, you may come back to your beats and think, I've got a lot better now. I can tell what I've done here which doesn't make sense or doesn't work for the beat. I'm going to make those adjustments there. Maybe it's EQ, maybe it's the drums that you used, maybe it's the way you chop the sample. There may be little things that you've realised with your progression as a beat maker that makes you think, I can definitely improve this idea now and make a much better beat. So having that idea there sketched out and saved somewhere on your computer maybe, or saved on your device, you can just open that up again at a later date and give it another go, and who knows, you may even have a couple of beats that you're happy with. I've definitely done this before and found that I've actually got loads and loads of beats saved all over the place, and I think to myself, well, why did I never finish this idea? This is quite a good idea. I've gone back, finished it, and then had a beat which I'm pretty happy with. So that's definitely a good idea, and definitely another good reason for keeping your old beats. You could go back at some point and rework them and come out with a really good idea. Okay, my third and final point, and again this kind of ties in with what I've already been saying, but keeping your old beats is a great way to monitor your own personal progress. So imagine if you had every single beat from when you started available to you in a library somewhere, and you went back and listened to your first beat and thought, wow, that's absolutely terrible, I'm really not happy with the sound of that, I've come such a long way with my beat making since then. So in that respect, it's a good way of monitoring your personal progress. Now, I think progress, especially for me, seems very laboured. It seems quite slow. I don't know if that's just a personal thing for me, but my progress in terms of beat making seems very incremental. It doesn't happen overnight, and sometimes you don't even feel like you're progressing because it's happening so slowly. Well, that's definitely the case for me personally. But then if I go back and listen to old beats, I do realise then how far that I've come and think, wow, back then I thought that was a good beat. Nowadays I know that there's loads of changes that I could make to that to make it better. So I've definitely progressed as a beat maker. I can tell now. I'm hearing beats differently, I'm approaching beats differently, and I'm going to be able to come out with something much better than those old ideas that I've got. On the flip side of that, you may notice a kind of naivety towards your beat making, which makes you think, I need to incorporate that more into my beats now. I'm overthinking things, and that's definitely something that happens to us creatives. We really start to overthink things when we get into them. If you get 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you may have just started to overthink absolutely everything that you're trying to create because you're trying to make it as good as you possibly can. And I think that's a pressure which comes with doing something for a long period of time. You think you should be good at it because you spent a lot of time in it. But maybe you do just need a reminder of that naivety. I just need some drums, some simple drums, a simple loop or some simple chops, put them together, good effects, good quality effects, and vibe, and I've got myself a good beat. So I did a little flip reverse there, and again, it's demonstrating another idea why it's a good idea to keep your old beats. So I hope this video is useful for you guys. I know it can be very frustrating being a creative person. I've been one all my life, and sometimes you just want to throw your laptop out the window or bang your head against a brick wall. But you do have to just sit in there and carry on and use these tips to your advantage. I really do think it will help if you've not already started doing this. Even better if you can categorize them into genre or the type of beat that you try to create, or even tempo. It really is up to you how far you want to go categorizing those. And one final bonus point as well, listening to your old beats can be a great form of motivation to make more beats or to get better. You may hear some glimpses of excellence or something really bad that you've noticed about your old beats that you know that you can then fix and think, wow, well now I really want to start cooking beats again because I know that I can make better than what I used to make, and that's a good motivation as well. So there's a little bonus tip for you at the end. Thanks for watching, guys. Please hit that subscribe button if you like this content because I do videos like this every week. And if this was useful, hit that like button as well. If you've got any of your own reasons for keeping old beats that I haven't mentioned here, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear them. But apart from that, I'll see you all again soon. Peace.